This video is brought to you by Squarespace.
It's showtime.
I'm pretty excited to talk about Beetlejuice in theme parks. Beetlejuice is truly an icon and has been around for a while. And Michael Keaton, oh, Michael Keaton, what a star in this once-in-a-lifetime role. I really like Beetlejuice because he's easily one of the most accessible horror characters out there, because it's not just about being scary, it's also about being fun and campy, and that's why I just love the character. I can't get enough of it. And it's not just his antics that make him iconic, it's also the costume. That costume was designed by none other than Aggie Rogers and was based on the insane drawings of Tim Burton. And with the ghoulish makeup that Beetlejuice has, as well as like his costuming and character stylings, was all a big part of Michael Keaton's process when he got the role. He helped develop a lot of this stuff himself. And the makeup, oh, the makeup with all those patchy spots of like growing moss and all like the pale, like ugly skin and like the sunken eyes. Well, you can thank V. Neal for that, the legendary makeup artist. Truly, what an icon born out of this 1988 film. And they took it and ran with it at theme parks, so buckle up, it's gonna get weird. Let me tell you about the 1989 Family Fun Fair cartoon touring mall shows, because ABC, less than a year from Beetlejuice's film debut, had a full cartoon series out and premiered by like September of 1989, and it was huge, man. It's showtime! What's wild about Beetlejuice as a whole is that his first costume character, believe it or not, is based off of the cartoon series and appeared in these mall shows that toured around America. Look at this thing. It is horrific. It is terrifying. What is going on? There's a couple of different like looks that this Beetlejuice costume has. There's a commercial that I found where like his head is spinning with like the snakes. It's terrifying. But then I also found a good clip of the mall show itself. The costume is huge. Like the head is so large on top of an already tall pair of shoulders. Like it is weird and flappy and odd. It's oh, Beetlejuice. Oh, Beetlejuice. And what a lineup, I've got to say, in the show here. I mean, you've got like Ghostbusters, Winnie the Pooh, Wizard of Oz. Is this a fever dream? Like, honestly, this is amazing. What I wouldn't give for this kind of, well, I guess we have this now. This is what Fortnite is now. You know, it's just a bunch of random brands stuck together for kids' entertainment. This is quite the look. You've got to really tip your hat to this first cartoon Beetlejuice and all of its horrific beauty. Thank you, cartoon Beetlejuice, for your service. Now, as you saw with the Saturday morning cartoons, when you're a kid in the 1990s and you thought of Supernatural, you really thought about two brands. You thought about Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice. So why not merge the two together in some beautiful theme park vertical integration? Well, that's exactly what we got with Ghostbusters House Call, a streetmosphere show at Universal Studios Florida that really knocks my socks off. What I wouldn't give to be here and witness this live. It truly makes me sad that I never got to see this. Let me like walk you through this one-of-a-kind piece of theme park entertainment. So it starts with this woman. She's walking home, she gets into her apartment, everything's great, and then suddenly the music changes. And who should appear but Beetlejuice on the fake streets of New York itself, wearing his iconic like taxi cab Beetlejuice look. He's like, hey, who's got pizza? It's a very pizza-focused Beetlejuice for his first theme park appearance, but honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that. He actively harasses the woman in her home until she runs away. She runs to like, I guess like a phone booth with the goal of like calling, she's gonna call somebody, but who? Who is she? Who? I messed that up. She's gonna call the Ghostbusters, guys. The Ghostbusters are gonna. Uh-oh, I hit the mic. I was trying to do a who's they gonna call joke, but without you seeing it coming, I don't know if it worked or not. You let me know in the comments. So the Ghostbusters show up, man, and they throw down with Beetlejuice. They have some words with him because Beetlejuice is up on the roof of the building at this point, and we get a lot of movie quotes.
Don't cross the street. Why? It would be bad.
God forbid we wouldn't know that they were the Ghostbusters if they weren't like directly quoting the movie, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, eventually they capture Beetlejuice in a trap. Like there's this big like tussle that happens with a bunch of sound effects like off stage. And then the Ghostbusters emerge from the house with a trap implying that Beetlejuice is caught within it, which is hilarious. I think that is so funny that canonically in theme parks, Beetlejuice has spent a significant amount of time in the containment unit for the Ghostbusters. And after the Ghostbusters clear the area, you can find them and Beetlejuice. I guess Beetlejuice gets let back out to sign autographs. I don't know. But like afterwards, you can find Beetlejuice hanging around in the parks. And this really opens the door for Beetlejuice to sort of become a staple of the parks and become a character that the parks use a lot. What I love about how Universal Studios approaches Beetlejuice as a whole is that it's very campy, just like the movie is. The movie's very campy, but Universal's they really turned it up, baby. And I think the best example of that was right at the beginning, Beetlejuice dead in concert. He rolls out on the public library stairs. He's got a top hat and a cane, and it's some Broadway style music. He starts singing some like, Sound of Music-esque parody songs about all the gross stuff he loves while he like carries around a toilet plunger cane. It's genius. And also, a little fun note, he's wearing a purple shirt here, which is a nod to the cartoon Beetlejuice, who, as you know, wears a purple shirt underneath his like striped suit. So I thought that was a little fun bit of detailing there. And of course, the show takes place at the steps of the New York Public Library, so who should appear to take care of this ghoulish problem but the Ghostbusters themselves, of course, right? That is until Beetlejuice possesses them, because he is, a bio-exorcist. He can possess humans and like cause chaos. No! So he possesses the boys into becoming a boy band, essentially. It's hilarious. It's a heck of a mashup. Hold on, wait a minute. Enhance. Is that Wayne Brady? That is definitely Wayne Brady dancing as a Ghostbuster with Beetlejuice. That's wild, man. Hey, Wayne Brady. I didn't know he was like an Orlando guy. Anyway, I saw this show as a kid. I absolutely loved it. I was bananas for this show. The idea of pairing up two iconic supernatural brands like this just like made my little kid brain explode. Okay, while we've talked a lot about Universal here to get started, Beetlejuice is not exclusive to Universal Studios. In fact, he has had some other appearances in other places that are truly chaotic, and the first one of his many chaotic appearances is in 1991 at Warner Brothers Movie World in Australia on the Great Gremlins ride. More specifically, because this is a mouthful, because God forbid we name theme park rides anything honestly easy to say. This is the Warner Brothers Classics and Great Gremlins ride. But Dan, you ask, this is a Gremlins ride. Why are you bringing this up? Well, stay with me, because just stay with me. This ride opened in 1991 in Australia, like I mentioned, and the pre-show begins simple enough. You're in a movie theater, you're at the Warner Brothers lot until the Gremlins take over. We run into the ride, we get onto the ride, and we start moving, and the Gremlins happen to also release other film properties from Warner Brothers, and so Beetlejuice gets freed, and he becomes like our savior in the ride, ultimately killing all of the Gremlins at the end. It's weird. And there are two versions of this ride. There's one in Australia and there's one in Germany, but the Germany one, it's the same ride, but in Germany it's Alf instead of Beetlejuice, Alf the alien. So this is a real weird one, guys, but I love it. I love the fact that we have a Gremlins Beetlejuice crossover attraction, because that's what Beetlejuice is so good at. He's so good at these like supernatural crossovers. And so this movie park was really thinking, they were thinking, they were, I don't even know what the phrase is. They were thinking ahead of their time. There you go. They were ahead of their time.
She's gonna call the Ghostbusters, guys. The Ghostbusters. Uh-oh, I hit the mic.
What I wouldn't give for a Gremlins Beetlejuice ride right now to hop on, that would be so much fun. And look, that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Beetlejuice and weird theme park stuff. Beetlejuice really thrived in the 90s, and with one big mega franchise in particular that persisted for quite a long time in Universal Studios parks. And of course, I'm talking about Beetlejuice's Graveyard Revue. What a show. And it's been in the parks until they literally paved, you know, like the back corner of it to build Fast and the Furious Supercharged in like the 2010s.
Cool.
It nearly ran like almost 30 years. It's quite the accomplishment. It was Beetlejuice summoning all of like classic horror monsters, from Wolfman to Frankenstein to Dracula. It's a really cool show. They all have fun. Wait a minute. Is that Wayne Brady again? Is that Wayne Brady as Dracula? Get out of here, man. Wayne Brady's all over this video. I had no idea. It's like a Whose Line Is It Beetlejuice. Throughout the years, the Graveyard Revue would see many versions. I think like at least 4 different versions where they would add all different kinds of stuff, like backup dancers and like, you know, singers and whatnot. And it was reprised at many Universal theme park. Hollywood got it. Some of their international parks got a version of it. And I'm not going to go into crazy detail because both Expedition Theme Park and Defunctland have great histories on Beetlejuice Graveyard Revue. It was a heck of a show. This is where the costume for Beetlejuice really started to evolve and take off, because here it's a constant Beetlejuice, like huge hair wig, the white face makeup, all of like the blotchiness with like the mossiness and stuff. So you saw them develop a specialized wig for Beetlejuice that they would use that like kind of cut off at the eyes and the nose, and was like a wig cap that would cover the entire forehead that was pre-painted white with all like the moss stuff stuck on it and the teased out wig. So the performer really just had to finish painting the bottom half of their face. The art direction of Beetlejuice's face paint and like wig cap is crazy. There are truly an unhinged amount of photos where it goes from, yeah, that looks acceptable, to, my God, who was in charge of makeup that year? Really, they run the gamut of appearances. But I wanted to get this show out of the way because it's a big Beetlejuice Universal thing, because there's an even bigger Beetlejuice Universal thing we've got to talk about, and that, of course, is Fright Nights. That's right, horror fans. You wrapped Dan up. You got him hooked. Now I'm talking about horror stuff. Oh man, Halloween Horror Nights, here I come. Fright Nights was the proto Halloween Horror Nights, if you're not familiar. It started out in 1991 in the Orlando area, and it was a game changer for Universal when it came to evening activities, engaging locals, and the idea of like really leaning into horror in a theme park. Bing bang boom, man, it was a mega success. And the original story of Fright Nights is kind of interesting because Adaru, the Sumerian god, aka Fear, like persists as the main story character of all of Halloween Horror Nights and Fright Nights, and he uses his like magic spook lantern, I guess, I don't know, to summon all of the Universal monsters and Beetlejuice for the first year of Fright Nights to kind of like entertain the crowd and, you know, get hyped. Starting with arguably probably one of my favorites, because it's a heck of a mashup, was the first Beetlejuice show at Fright Nights, Beetlejuice's Graveyard Tours. This was genius, all right? Because back in the day, Universal Studios Florida had a Bates Motel setup. It's all the way in the back where the Kids Land, you know, is right now. So you can go order a Shrexel, you know, the Shrek pretzel. For the first Fright Nights, they turned the Bates Motel into like a stage, this huge stage where the Blues Brothers show up and they negotiate with Norman Bates for a night stay at the Bates Motel if they throw on a concert. Of course, who better to help with a concert at the Bates Motel than Beetlejuice, who gets pulled up and resurrected from the grave, and Elvis. Elvis shows up at the, of course we resurrect Elvis, you know? And can I say that the combo of the juice and the blues is the funnest thing I have ever witnessed. I'm having a hard time not suggesting that we don't just do this show every year at Universal, because the Blues Brothers at Universal is the best and Beetlejuice is the best. Why is this not still happening? Come on, Universal, give this to me. As Fright Nights progressed into Halloween Horror Nights, come like 1994, they had a game show for Beetlejuice that would use theme park contestants to come up on stage and play along in what was called The Price is Fright. Good old Bob Beetlejuice Barker, you know? But I like this because they had a different costume for him. There are like no videos of this. Like there are no videos of a couple of these early Halloween Horror Nights like events because no one was vlogging, I guess. Like why where were you, Tim Tracker or whatever, you know? Or Kevin Heimbach or what? Like, why weren't you vlogging in 1994, man? So I could use that sweet B-roll. They had cool stuff. I found some cool concept art from the show, a couple photos from the show. I know it happened. I think it's time we brought this show back as well. I know I'm essentially telling you every Beetlejuice performance, and then I followed up with, I think it's time we bring it back, but I think it's time we bring it back, guys. How much fun. Everyone loves a game show. Everyone loves Beetlejuice. You see where I'm going with this? The next year's Halloween Horror Nights in 1995 featured an entirely unique Beetlejuice area that was not documented in any way, shape, or form. So I'm just going to mention it really quickly and move on because I don't have anything to show you other than to say that the 1995 Halloween Horror Nights had a Beetlejuice plague ground. You get it? Plague ground, where the description was, come experience the Juice's greatest games. Try the Whirl and Hurl, the ultimate zero gravity challenge. See how far you can go on the Snot Snapper, or ride the Way Radical Surf and Barf. Now what this says to me is just carnival rides. A lot of this just feels like tilt-a-whirls and stuff, that they set up a couple of, carnival attractions in the back corner, themed them a little spooky, and called it a night. But I don't know. Like I said, there's no documentation of this. Why weren't you guys vlogging in 1995? So disappointed in you, vloggers. The next Beetlejuice appearance is something that I love. And a lot of you kids don't really understand this because this is truly a millennial type thing. In the 90s, to promote events and things, we would receive in the mail, believe it or not, a VHS tape that we would place in a VCR that would allow us to see promotional materials for places like theme parks that we wouldn't otherwise know because there was no internet. So for us to understand what was going on at the parks, they had to really advertise it. It's not like today where, again, you have 17,000 vloggers covering every which way. So in 1997, there was an official Beetlejuice Universal Studios promo tape where Beetlejuice hosted. It's very campy. Honestly, it's really a riot. I highly recommend you watch it if you haven't had a chance to take a peek at it in its entirety. It's nostalgia packed, but also unhinged. Unlike anything that they make these days, truly, RIP the days of the VHS promo tape. Okay. I know I said earlier that there were a lot of Beetlejuice Graveyard Revue expansions and revisions, and they did a lot to the show over the years, and I wasn't gonna harp on all the different versions, but I have to talk about this one because in 2001, they opened it up in Japan, and it's perfection. It's magnificent. It's way funnier than it is in the America parks. I don't even know what half of the stuff they're saying is, but I can tell you for a fact, it is incredible. And I really like this, and I had to talk about this because I think it's very interesting how the Asia markets approach the Beetlejuice character, because it's unlike what we do here in the States. And it's just everyone doing their best Michael Keaton. But over in Japan, that's not the story. In fact, it's something more elevated, more exaggerated, something even campier than that. It's very different, and the wig and the makeup, it's just so extra, it's just so big, it's just so bold, it's just so fantastic. I don't understand what is going on here. I don't know what that's going on there. It's wild. I love it. Again, his hair makes me think of Big Bird with its volume and size and circumference. And it's just one big old wig piece. But no, seriously, I have no idea what's happening. The amazing boy band Ghostbusters Beetlejuice Dead in Concert experience was revived in 2002, nearly a decade later, thanks to the popular Ghostbusters cartoon, Extreme Ghostbusters. So we got Extreme Ghostbusters Great Fright Way, which is, it's literally the same show that we saw in the 90s, the Beetlejuice Dead in Concert, but just with new Ghostbusters outfits, because they look different from the cartoon, so they're wearing all their colors. But the addition also is a Slimer puppet, in the Ecto 1, which is dope. That's so cool. Bring Slimer puppets back. I guess Slimer's in the new parade, but he's just a static. It's just a static Slimer. It's not like a puppet. I appreciate you for giving us Ghostbusters in the parade. Thank you. For the love of God, please bring them back into some kind of attraction. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Beetlejuice gets to some unhinged things when it comes to theme parks internationally, and I have to bring up Holland. At the Walibi Holland Park, Walibi is the name of it. Okay, I don't speak Dutch, so I can't even begin to tell you what I believe is happening here, but I'm assuming I'm assuming that Holland, went hard on a Halloween event of some kind, something spooky, and they licensed Beetlejuice to be the host for the park. Why not? And this guy looks amazing. Look at this Beetlejuice, all jazzed up, looking adorable. He's made appearances for over several years. It's like easily the early 2010s, late 2000s. Beetlejuice was there, loud and proud. Like I said, I don't know what he's like. Every time he says anything, it just sounds incredibly dirty. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about hearing Beetlejuice speak Dutch, but it sounds way dirtier than American Beetlejuice. And in perhaps the most insane thing you will see in this entire video, they somehow were able to attain the licenses for Disney's Friend Like Me, sung in Dutch by Beetlejuice. And it's official, guys. I'm speechless. What do you say? What do you say to that? What do you say to this magnificent piece of art? Now, I know everyone got real sad when they tore down the Beetlejuice Graveyard Revue for what was ultimately the lamest ride that Universal had ever built. And that, of course, is Fast and the Furious Supercharged. But in 2018, they opened up the ride after they paved down a bunch of iconic stuff, and they left behind some Easter eggs in the ride. And thanks to Alicia Stella over at Theme Park Stop, aka internationally recognized theme park newsbreaker, she did a nice little video recapping all the Easter eggs, including 3 Beetlejuice Easter eggs. A bobblehead, there's a Beetlejuice decal, and then there's like a photo of Frankenstein. All nods to the iconic attraction we lost, the crappy ride we're now waiting to ride.
What in the world did I just experience?
Hyped. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tearing down that incredible earthquake ride so that I can hang out in a party bus with Dom Toretto. One of my favorite appearances of Beetlejuice honestly has to be Beetlejuice on Broadway, the Beetlejuice musical from 2019. This is iconic, and the look itself has modified here or there, both from the tour to its international versions to like the previews, but all in all, it's still the same Beetlejuice look that is at its core, that black and white striped suit. In fact, I found a really cool video of the costume designer, William Ivy Long, describing the cool journey he took to make the custom fabric for the Beetlejuice look. Because these are Broadway performance costumes that need to be danced in, need to have a lot of flexibility and breathability. They're not just your typical stiff suit fabric. So he had the Beetlejuice fabric custom made, but he designed it by taking photos of like fabric boards with a lot of different textures, and then photos of fabric boards with black and white stripes that are all kind of erratic and made with different textures. Then he layered them together in Photoshop and had a custom super thin fabric printed with a little bit of texture on it that he then heightened into the Beetlejuice costumes. So it's not like a heavy, dense suit fabric when you see a Beetlejuice on stage. Instead, it's like a very thin, breathable, airy fabric that's designed to look like a stiff a suit. And if you haven't seen this show, it's on tour right now. I highly recommend it. And hey, if Beetlejuice casting, if you guys are listening to this, call me, baby. I would love to play any role on Beetlejuice on tour.
Seriously, give me a shout.
Now, would you believe it or not, come 2020, after these decades of Beetlejuice being an icon at the parks, he finally got his own Halloween Horror Night house. That's right, the Beetlejuice Horror House from 2020, and it was a masterpiece. Giant props, Beetlejuice is here, Beetlejuice is there, Beetlejuice is everywhere. It was great. Even some Lydia, some Maitlands with like their spooky faces. It was epic. Ruined, quite honestly, ruined only by the fact that it was post-pandemic pandemic, and all of the scare actors are wearing masks. But hey, I'm so glad they made this house. It was iconic. The team and the artisans and the craftsmen behind Halloween Horror Nights, and really a lot of the stuff that goes on at Universal is peak. It's some of the best. Like, it knows what the audience wants and it gives it to them. And we wanted a Beetlejuice horror house. Beetlejuice had been, you know, like the #1 guy since literally the moment Fright Nights started. And now here we are, finally paying homage. Not to go back, but we have to go back. We have to go back to Australia for a minute. We have to go back, Kate. Did you guys watch Lost? Warner Brothers Movie World, Australia, Beetlejuice is back. They just announced it literally as I was making this video. They like made the big announcement. Welcome back, Beetlejuice. Welcome back to Australia. And listen, guys, like, I know that there's other Beetlejuice stuff out there, like weird pop-ups and like Comic-Con stuff, but this is, hey, I'm DIStory Dan. I'm the Chuckle King of theme parks, all right? I'm talking mostly about theme parks here, so that was the main focus of the video, but I wanna know what Beetlejuices I might have missed, because I'm sure there's some Beetlejuices out there, and I'm sure more Beetlejuices will come, because welcome Beetlejuice, the sequel. It's new movie time, and what will this mean? Well, what this means, I think, that a lot of older men will finally be able to play Beetlejuice in the parks. Like, it won't have to just be some young guy, because now, you know, you got like old man Keaton, you know, so we got old man Juice. So I hope he gets into some weird antics. There's rumors, people are saying there's gonna be a new Beetlejuice look at the parks for the new movie, but like, I mean, what? Like, I'm hoping the movie gives us a bunch of new Beetlejuice outfits, so who knows, maybe we'll get a fun new Beetlejuice outfit or two from the new flick. Squarespace! Ah! Oh my gosh, look at that! Out of nowhere appeared an incredible, powerful website building tool that's sponsoring today's video! When I needed to create a website for all my great Disney Dan content, I was able to find an amazing template from their huge library of web designs. With Squarespace's flexible professional website templates, I was able to customize my look, update content, and add features that fit all my needs. Plus, it looks incredible across all types of devices. But it gets even better thanks to their next generation website design system, Fluid Engine. It's truly mind-blowing because it's like a drag and drop website design system that you can use on web or mobile. I can customize like every detail. Extend Squarespace's already powerful e-commerce capabilities with Squarespace extensions. These new third-party tools can help you manage your inventory, promote products, streamline bookkeeping, reconcile and file sales tax, and ship items across the globe. Don't worry, Squarespace, I won't say your name 3 times to send you back to where you came from because you're awesome. What a great tool. The #1 website builder for all ghouls and spooks. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/DisneyDan to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Well, there you go, guys. I hope you had a great spooky time with me going down the storied history of Beetlejuice, the one, the only. Make sure you head on over to Fun to check out my brand new podcast. I'm trying to do follow-up episodes for all of my big evolutions, so make sure you head on over and see my Beetlejuice episode where I break down and talk about some more stories that I didn't get to cover here in the video. And I'm trying to find, and I think I may have found a Beetlejuice actor or two who might have portrayed him back in the early days. So it might be fun to find one of those guys and chat with them. So head on over to Fun to check that out. Also, don't forget to check out the vlog, the sister channel to the site. Please stop vlogging. Please stop vlogging. Where you all let me down. Where were you in the 90s when you were supposed to be vlogging Fright Nights and now there's no good B-roll of that? You know, like what? Oh, hey, it's my patrons. Hey, patrons. Thanks so much for supporting me over here at the Disney Dan channel and helping me go on all kinds of adventures and tell all kinds of weird and wacky stories. Let me know what kind of Beetlejuices I might have missed in this list, or what Beetlejuices you have encountered out in the real world, or what Beetlejuices you hope to see one day when you vacation next. Also, let's give it up for the amount of Wayne Brady cameos in this video, man. I didn't anticipate that. So you might be out in the Universal Studios park right now, or Disney park as a cast member or team member, putting in your hours, putting in your dues, being like, where is this going? Wow. The world is your oyster, baby. Wayne Brady was Dracula and a Ghostbuster, and now look at him. Look at me.
Any role on Beetlejuice on Tour, seriously, give me a shout.
Look at all of us. Thanks for watching, guys. You rock.